Unlike your typical weekend away mountain biking, coming somewhere like Whistler does involve bringing quite a lot more kit if you want to get the maximum out of your riding trip. So with that in mind, I've literally just pulled my bike out of the bike bag before setting it up. I'm just going to run you through a bunch of the kit that I like to bring on trips like this to make sure I can get the best possible experience. Obviously, you need a bike. Wheels, you're not going anywhere without your wheels. Bike parks eat tyres. Take a spare tyre if you can in your baggage, and worst case, if you don't use it, you can sell it for some beers on the last night. It's worth taking a Mudguard as well. Although it's bone dry here at the moment, anything can change in the mountains. A camera. Whether it's a GoPro or your favourite SLR, take a camera to document your riding trip. Carry some spare parts. It's worth having some brake pads. I like to carry a rear maxle because I have managed to break one in the past. A bit of your favourite chain oil just to make sure your chain and your drivetrain is nice and smooth at the end of every day. Inner tubes. Carry as many as you can with you, you're going to go through them. Tools, obvious multi-tools, the stuff that you need to make sure your bike is fine-tuned. Pumps, make sure you take a shock pump so you can fine-tune the setup of your bike, and also a regular tyre pump so you can keep that with you in your pack. I've got a couple of decent riding bags for my trip, so as I said, I was planning a trip outside the park, so I've got my decent all-day pack here so I can carry my lunch and tools and everything I need. But for during the park, when you're just in a gravity riding, you don't really need to carry much with you. It's always sensible to carry a tube, multi-tool and a few spares. So a little endurance pack like that, they're great because they don't get in the way, they don't hinder your riding, but you have got all that stuff that you need. Decent pair of riding shoes that are going to stand up to all the abuse of day-to-day use is essential too. But bear in mind, if you're a flat or clips user, I typically like to ride flat pedals at a place like Whistler, but I am planning on doing some riding outside the park, so I like to have the option of both. Decent flat pedal and also my favourite clips. Obviously protection is the #1 priority for riding any bike park, especially Whistler. So you want a decent full face helmet for maximum protection when you're doing all that gravity riding. But for riding outside the park, you don't necessarily want something so hot and heavy, so a decent open face helmet is good. You can combine these with the goggles as well, so you get a bit of a halfway house in feel. It's just a sensible option for anyone to take. Protection is also a really sensible idea for any mountain biking trip, let alone a place like Whistler. So at the very least, you need a decent set of knee pads. I like to carry 2 sets because heavy duty set for riding the bike park, but if I'm riding outside the park, I don't really want a big heavy pad that constricts my riding, so I like a lightweight pad. These ones in particular, just like a lycra sleeve with very minimal padding. Not enough for a big hit, but super comfortable for all day use. For a trip like this one to Whistler, eyewear is something you definitely want to make sure you get right. So what I mean by that is taking a pair of goggles and also some riding glasses. So goggles obviously make sense for the high speed riding you're going to be doing in a bike park, and a nice mirrored lens as well to keep the sun at bay. But a trip like this also gives you the opportunity to ride a lot of trails outside of the park, so combining with an open face helmet, you want to get some decent riding glasses because goggles, as good as they are, they do get in the way. Of course, you've got to make sure you've got some decent riding kit for your selection, so I like to take a couple of pairs of shorts and then 3 or 4 riding jerseys. You don't really want to have to wash kit when you're out on a trip like this. Of course, on top of all the other kit you take, you've got to make sure you have a good wardrobe of t-shirts and clobber for après bike wear, because you don't want to be festering while you're having a beer wearing your old stinking riding kit. Hopefully this is giving you a bit of an idea of the right stuff you want to be taking to a bike park. If you want to find out a bit more on the kit to wear in a bike park, click down here. If you want to know about riding flow trails, which are very typical of Whistler, click over here. Don't forget to subscribe by clicking on the big globe here. It's a fresh new video every single day. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up.